right on the verge of it. I don't know what your last season has been like. I don't know what jail or prison the enemy has locked you up in. I don't know where you doubt you or disbelieve you, but I just came on tonight to confirm to anybody who will hear me that you're right on you're right on the break of it. You're right on the initiative that's going to push you and propel you right into it. And that's good for somebody who's been waiting and praying. That's good for somebody who's been praising and fasting. It's good for somebody who's been seeking and asking. It's good for anybody who's been under the weight of it, just trying to get ahead in it. I gotta tell you that God has heard all of your prayers. I know sometimes it don't seem like it, but God has heard all of your prayers. I know it don't seem like it, but God has heard and seen all of your trouble, all of your trial, all of your testimony of where He brought you from. But you're speaking in projection on where you're going to. That you have to break every stronghold over you. Don't wait for nobody to prophesy to you. Don't wait for no preacher to preach it over you. Don't wait for no choir to sing you into it. You got to begin to break every chain over my mind. God, if every place there was my hands being tied, stopping me from doing the work that God called and assigned over me, God, break it. I'm breaking through everything that the enemy would try and lock me in, and friends would try and hold you behind, and family wouldn't support you in, and folk close to you didn't believe you, but only added more doubt to you. God, I'm breaking that over my life on tonight, that this is the last night. This is the last night. Last night I feel like this. Last night I think like this. This is the last night. This is the last night I'm locked up in a place where I think I can't walk into. It's the last night that I struggle trying to find out where it's gonna come from and how we gonna get it. This is the last night. This is the last night that I'm pressed about a bill. But from now on, let me tell you not anymore to speak about your past, but to talk to your future. This is the beginning of my next and my new. This is the beginning of my testimony too. This is the beginning of everything that God would put in my mind. I'm seeing in the manifestation. This is the beginning. We talk too much about the end. I want to know how your next is, how your new be, how it is you gonna drive in it, how you gonna pull up to it, how you gonna walk into it. Do you got the keys of it? Is it more than one? Are you carrying 3-4 bags because you got way too much on you trying to take it to the bank? Do you have one account or two? Is it the corporation or the LLC? What is it that God has put inside of you that you're forfeiting for holding on to the prison of your old? It says, I release unto you the new. I pray for breakthrough. It says at midnight they praised God. It says they were singing. It didn't say they started. It said they had been doing it. I'm calling you to a place where you can worship even though you don't see it. God, I thank you for the now house before I even get the next one. God, I thank you for the now vehicle before I walk into and sign for the brand new one off the lot. I thank you for the now kids. I know their behavior is terrible, but it's changing and you're fixing it. God, I thank you for the right now, because I know my next is connected to me breaking my praise right now. And a lot of the times I think we wait and we wonder. A lot of the times I think we stumble and stutter. A lot of the times I think we're apprehensive. We're suggestively doubting us because of what God has already done for us. I don't know where in your mind you thought that He was done, but I need to tell you that God's just getting started. Nowhere in you thought that this was all that you'd see, but I need to tell you on tonight that God has called more of what you would think is the last of, the final of. This is the greatest that you'll ever be. You to break it. It says that they're singing, shouting, praising, because the day had been too hard. That's what it says. It says that they had had enough of being stepped on, doors closed on him, says they had had enough. God, I'm tired of being locked up in it. That's what it says. It says they're tired of not being in prison, being under the jail. I'm tired of looking at me the way that I do. Tired of hearing people talk about me the way that they do in my mind. I'm tired of never seeing it and stopping me from allowing me to see it. Because I'm sick of being locked up in my mind. God says, here's the remedy. Here's what you do. When you can't see your way through, praise your way out. And they began to sing. I don't know if they went from midnight to midnight. Don't know if they went from Tuesday to Friday. But I feel in my spirit somewhere on tonight that they had a praise on the inside on the way to the lunchroom, on the way to the bathroom, on the way to the jail cell and the bed, on the way to get the phone call and visitation, on the way to the ward, and on the way to check on the bond, on the way to court. They had a song in their mouth and a tune in their heart that I will praise the name of the Lord regardless of how I'm locked in it. I know he can bring me out of it. And so you got to begin to thank him while you're walking through the house, while you're driving to the job. You got to begin to thank him for the new when you're driving in the old, when you pull up to your now. You got to begin to thank God for everything that was, him preserving me how he did, him allowing me what he did, and him being who he is. It says somewhere that praise caught on to everybody else in the prison. That I don't just praise him by myself, but the whole house is praising him together. And I thank you for keeping us together. And we all say it together. I'm thankful for feeding us today and yesterday, and we all are thankful and say our grace together. I'm thankful, God, that you kept me and the people that was connected to me and the folk that live with me. And we all say thank you together. When we get all on one accord. This is not Acts chapter 1 and 2. This is 16. They through with fellowship. Now it's just him and a fella trying to get off the ship. And he says, I'm going to thank him all by myself. So praise is contagious. When you start shouting, folk next to you, even if they believe God or not, going to catch something on the inside of them and say, I thank you for everything that I didn't thank you for. I'm thankful for the unbelievers next to me that may get tired of hearing me next door. But at some point in time, some way, and someday, they're going to catch the spirit too and say, God, I thank you. God's about to break it. So whatever it is that was holding you, I pray in your mind you release it. So when God break it, it don't break you. Pray whatever has been stalling in front of your feet to stop you from walking into everything that is your greater destiny, that you release it, for God break it, shake it, that it don't break and shake you. Pray that the foundations of everything you've been standing on, that God remove you from it, from your mind, so you can walk into your next, that when he shakes it, it don't cause you to be shaken in your stability. And then it says that they came out. They came out. That when God opens the door, you got to walk out. Don't stand around waiting for everybody else to gather their thoughts or pick up their stuff. You got to walk out. You know what God has called you to walk into is greater than, but the only way you can pull people through is if you go through first. This is not your time to be selective in your salvific grace that you're trying to save everybody. In this season, you just got to come out. In this season, you just got to release. In this season, you got to walk into it, knowing that it was God that provided me to see it. I'm going to walk into it. I pray when I get there, I can help somebody else get through it. So tonight, I break it. Break every word of doubt over you. I break it. Every word that you didn't believe, I break it. Every place that you didn't see, I'm breaking into it. Consequently, I'm not on the break of it. I'm breaking through to it. All right? I know we're talking about chains being over your hands, and so the enemy has had a hand over your finances because it comes through your hands. If you notice in this season that many times your attack don't happen over your mind, it don't happen over your feet, it don't even happen over your house, it happens over your hands. That the enemy is busy. That's why they nailed his hands to the cross, to stop his productivity in work. You got to know he's a healer. And so you're going to use your hands. Your hands are not to be taken. Granted, your hands are supposed to be put to work. And so I ask God daily, God, what do you want me to do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? If my hands are idle, then I'm not working to my full capacity. I need to know, where do you want my hands so that my hands don't handle the attack? This is that the enemy is after your hands. Not only is the enemy after your hands, but watch that they nailed his feet. That the enemy is after your feet because he wants you to stop you from walking into your destiny. I know the assignment over you is so great that you're paused, I think, a lot of the times just by stuff around you. But don't be weighted by that. Don't be stalled by that. Don't even be paused or stopped by that. You got to keep focused on the goal at the end of the road. Know that he'll try and stop your feet to stop you from walking into everything that God has destined for you. That nailed his hands and then nailed his feet. But we find in Acts chapter 16, Paul and Silas, they locked them up. I'm not talking about a single attack. I'm talking about folk who know I've been going through it. I'm talking about folk who cannot be bougie, but really understand that this word is just for me. And if I ain't talking to nobody, I'm talking to myself. That man, this has been the year. This has been the year of up and down. This has been the year of being turned all the way around. This has been the year. And I tell you that this month just started, but it seems like it has been a year of just this month. You ever been in that place where you're not in it? You're not just being attacked on one front. This is not just from behind you. This is every part of you being thrown in it and forgot about. That's what it seems like. Sometimes it seems like God forgot about you. Sometimes it seems like he ain't gonna come through for you. Sometimes it seems like you've been praying and still don't get no answer. That you're crying and wailing, you're fasting, doing everything you're supposed to do, showing up to church 13 times in half a week. Right? You there before they even open the doors on Wednesday night, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. And still come early and stay all day Sunday. But you're locked up in it.
Kind of like what he said the other day. Like their hands have been like tied up.
Yeah.
Like their mouths were free.
Yeah.
With your mouth, you have to use it to give your greatest praise.
What do you do with your mouth?
Give your praise.
What do you do with your mouth?
Give your praise.
I need to know on tonight, what has you afraid of you? What has you scared of the next person God is inviting you to be, but you're too hesitant to run into your destiny? I need to know on tonight where you have been apprehensive, where you've been unconfirmed, where you need acknowledgement or just affirmation to say that you can walk into your greater you. And so tonight, I don't want to play with it. I don't want to pause on it. I don't even want to hesitate, but I need to tell you on tonight, you need to break midnight. Break midnight. I know midnight is the point in time that is not 11:59, but it's not 12 o'clock. I need to tell you on tonight that midnight exists somewhere between 11:59:30 and 11:59:59. It's hard to pinpoint when the shift happens, but I know at some point it happens. And if you're waiting for a day, then I tell you, you may be waiting too long. If you're waiting for a moment, you may end up missing it. If you're waiting for a president, then you may end up waiting for Congress to pass it. But on tonight, I got to tell you, you have to break midnight. No, somebody's not listening to me on tonight. I just preach to myself. I ain't preaching anyway. I just teach to me. Jeremiah, you have to learn this. What's that, Doc? You have to learn that most walls only exist in your mind. that you have to crawl across whatever barrier is in front of you that's holding you, that has captivated you to stay in this moment, to say, I can get over it. I can break through it, and I can get to it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about your freedom. That's right. That's all I'm doing. I'm just talking about your freedom. I ain't talking about nothing. You ain't got to say nothing back to me. I'm just talking about your greater destiny. I ain't talking about anything for real. I'm just talking to people who understand that I ain't even who I'm supposed to be yet. I ain't even where I'm supposed to go yet. I ain't even took on the persona, and folk don't even like me. But what I'm about to walk into gonna really make you hate me. I'm talking to people who know on tonight my calling is greater than what you'll ever see me in. That the person that I'm about to be is bigger than what you'll ever doubt me to be. I'm telling somebody tonight that you are right on the break of breaking midnight. I know midnight in value of numbers don't exist. In values of days, it don't have one. In values of hours, you'll never find it. You'll run out of minutes trying to form your mind on when it happens. So I don't want you to worry about tomorrow. And I've already taken care of today. I need you to break it so that you can get over it, so that you can get through to everything that God has for you. Is the beginning. We talk too much about the end. I want to know how your next is, how your new be, how it is you gonna drive in it, how you gonna pull up to it, how you gonna walk into it. Do you got the keys of it? Is it more than one? Are you carrying 3-4 bags because you got way too much on you trying to take it to the bank? Do you have one account or two? Is it the corporation or the LLC? What is it that God has put inside of you that you're forfeiting for holding on to the prison of your old? It says, I release unto you the new. I pray for breakthrough. It says at midnight, they praised God. It says they were singing. It didn't say they started. It said they had been doing it. I'm calling you to a place where you can worship even though you don't see it. God, I thank you for the now house before I even get the next one. God, I thank you for the now vehicle before I walk into and sign for the brand new one off the lot. I thank you for the now kids. I know their behavior is terrible, but it's changing and you're fixing it. God, I thank you for the right now, because I know my next is connected to me breaking my praise right now. And a lot of the times I think we wait and we wonder. A lot of the times I think we stumble and stutter. A lot of the times I think we're apprehensive. We're suggestively doubting us because of what God has already done for us. Yep. I don't know where in your mind you thought that he was done, but I need to tell you that God's just getting started. Nowhere in you thought that this was all that you'd see, but I need to tell you on tonight that God has called more of what you would think is the last of, the final of. This is the greatest that you'll ever be. It says, I want you to break it. It says that they're singing, shouting, praising, because the day had been too hard. It says that they had had enough of being stepped on, doors closed on him. It says they had had enough. God, I'm tired of being locked up in it. It says they're tired of not being in prison, being under the jail. Tired of looking at me the way that I do. Tired of hearing people talk about me the way they do in my mind. Tired of never seeing it and stopping me from allowing me to see it. Being locked up in my mind. Tonight I break it. Break every word of doubt over you. I break it. Every word that you didn't believe, I break it. The place that you didn't see, breaking into it. Consequently, I'm not on the break of it.